Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today we are going to start episode 724 of I Have 90 Billion Licking Gold Coins. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. Chapter 1272, The Canyon of Will. With the 1,000 illusion array gone, many intermediate-level heirs were suddenly discovered on Spirit Mountain. Some exceptionally lucky prodigies even triggered high-level transcendent legacies by chance. Of course, without the 1,000 illusion array, almost all the 5th Sacred Realm prodigies made their way to the Canyon of Will. When Chen Yuan arrived at the canyon, over 1,000 heirs were already gathered ahead, many discussing among themselves. Unbelievable. Even the double-eyed prodigy couldn't make it through the Canyon of Will. And he's at Galaxy Stage 3. To enter the 6th Sacred Realm, prodigies cannot be ordinary. Mastery of laws, domains, and willpower. All three must be flawless, otherwise reaching the top is impossible. This Canyon of Will stretches 1,000 kilometers. It carries an overwhelming force of willpower. Rumor says the canyon's end contains the supreme will of the cosmic overlord. Even cosmic transcendent beings would struggle to resist. Of course, we don't need to cross the entire canyon. Just 10 kilometers inside, and we can unlock the 6th Sacred Realm's spatial entrance. And the canyon is one of the ultimate training grounds for strengthening willpower. Spending 100 years here would make our resolve unbreakable. Chen Yuan gazed at the massive canyon, thoughtful. Laws, domains, willpower. The combination of these three could unleash hundreds of times more power than normal at the same level. As a top-tier universal prodigy, it seemed the trials of the Sacred Realm were designed precisely for this. Only the truly peerless could overcome the challenges and claim supreme legacies. At that moment, a dazzling golden light suddenly radiated from the stone tablet at the canyon's entrance. Golden letters appeared with a thunderous glow. Congratulations, Qian prodigy, for passing the Canyon of Will trial. You have successfully entered the 6th Sacred Realm. The announcement caused the prodigies at the entrance to gasp in envy. Qian prodigy cleared the canyon. Of course, with his Galaxy Stage 4 strength, mastery of 5 laws, 3 domains, and Qian domain perfected to the 2nd layer, it's no surprise he succeeded. I've experienced this canyon myself. Once inside the barrier, a fierce willpower impact hits you like a tidal wave, leaving no room to breathe. And the deeper you go, the stronger it gets. I reached 5 kilometers before my will nearly broke. If I had gone further, I would have been destroyed completely. A Galaxy Stage 2 prodigy spoke with lingering fear. Hearing this, the Galaxy Stage 1 heirs all looked uneasy. Even Stage 2 and Stage 3 prodigies found the canyon extremely difficult. Their chance of passing it was slim at best. I think it's worth trying, even if we don't succeed. At worst, we can explore Spirit Mountain for transcendent legacies. Maybe after gaining a legacy, our strength will increase, and attempting the canyon again will be easier. The only downside is that once you use a legacy token, you cannot obtain higher-level legacies in the 6th Sacred Realm again. That makes sense. I want to see how far I can walk in this Canyon of Will. Chen Yuan scanned the entrance. He did not see Lan Xingyue, Zilan Goddess, or Huolinger. Perhaps they had already entered the canyon. Chen Yuan decisively stepped into the canyon barrier. Isn't that Chen Yuan? He only just arrived at the canyon. I remember 3 months ago, he entered the 1,000 illusion array. Could he have been trapped for months until it vanished automatically? Seems so. Although he reached Galaxy Stage 3, he took shortcuts to power. Such forced growth destabilized his foundation, leaving him vulnerable to mental intrusion, which explains why he was trapped. This shows that strength alone does not guarantee resolute will. If your will isn't firm, rapid growth leads to future bottlenecks. No matter how strong temporarily, true greatness may never come. Time will reveal it. The prodigy spoke coldly. Although he had failed before, he had reached 9 kilometers in the canyon, just 1 kilometer short of success. If nothing went wrong, he could spend 20 years in the 5th Sacred Realm, refining his will and consolidating his foundation, and still have a chance to enter the 6th Sacred Realm. After all, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th Sacred Realms, time flows 10 times faster than the external universe. They could train over 90 years in the 5th Sacred Realm. For prodigies in the 7th Sacred Realm, The time difference was 100 times. Those who trained for 1,000 years there would become unimaginably powerful. The stronger the talent, the more resources, the faster the growth. The strong get stronger, the weak weaker, and the gap widens indefinitely. The moment Chen Yuan stepped into the canyon of will, a subtle soul and willpower shock swept over him. It felt like standing on the beach when a wave gently splashes your feet. Kind of pleasant, even. He glanced at two nearby heirs, both sweating and struggling. Their will was under tremendous pressure, their bodies barely moving. They advanced one step every 10 seconds, moving slower than snails. Chen Yuan wasted no time and moved forward. In less than 10 minutes, he had already walked 5 kilometers. At this speed, he astonished everyone around, leaving a trail of amazed and terrified heirs behind. Chapter 1273, Bringing the Girls Through the Trial. Chen Yuan deliberately slowed his pace. He wanted to stay low-key, but his strength left him no choice. The other prodigies were moving far too slowly. After advancing 6 kilometers through the Canyon of Will, Chen Yuan finally saw 3 familiar figures ahead. 3 women of peerless beauty. Though only at Galaxy Stage 1, they had already endured 6 kilometers of the canyon. Every step brought a tremendous willpower shock, yet none of them gave up. Especially Lan Xingyue. Her pupils nearly bled, but she gritted her teeth and pressed forward. Xingyue, maybe you should give up. The willpower shocks here are far too violent. You've reached your limit. If you go further, you could die. No, I will not give up. Chen Yuan may have already entered the 6th sacred realm. I must make it through. Determination and resolve shone in her eyes. Xilon Goddess was also nearing her limit. Her situation was slightly better, but her face was pale. Likely 1 more kilometer, and she would reach her threshold. Huolinger fared the best. She felt the heavy pressure, but it hadn't exceeded her limit yet. By her calculation, 9 kilometers was her maximum endurance. Being only Galaxy Stage 1, to pass the canyon with her strength alone, she would need at least 10 more years of training. Suddenly, Chen Yuan's voice rang out behind them. Fools! Who said I've already entered the 6th sacred realm? All 3 women turned around. Chen Yuan appeared out of nowhere, strolling casually with a relaxed expression. Yuan, you're really still here. Uft. Lan Xingyue lost her composure for a moment and spat blood under the violent willpower shock. Cosmic Domain, activate. Chen Yuan instantly released his domain power, enveloping Lan Xingyue, Xilon Goddess, and Huolinger. He bore the entire willpower shock alone, protecting the 3 of them. A nearby Galaxy Stage 3 prodigy sneered. Idiotic. Using domain power here? And shielding 3 female heirs from the willpower shock. Do you even know that the wider the domain, the more intense the willpower shock you bear? He's courting death. Indeed, the moment Chen Yuan activated his cosmic domain, the shock he experienced exploded, at least 10 times stronger. Only then did a trace of pressure appear on his face, but it was minor, like lifting 20 pounds when capable of 100. Chen Yuan, you. Nothing. A mere shock to the will cannot shake me. Let's advance together. 10 kilometers is no problem. His calm declaration left Lan Xingyue, Xilon Goddess, and Huolinger stunned. The other prodigies walking slowly were also dumbfounded. Impossible. There's no way he can bring others through. The canyon's willpower is brutal enough for 1 person to survive. How can he lead 3? Carrying others multiplies the shock intensity 10-fold per person, so 3 people is 30 times harder. Is he even aware of his own limits? Even Hunyuan prodigy wouldn't dare claim that. Bragging, he's asking for a slap in the face. Huolinger frowned. Chen Yuan, you can't possibly carry them through. Better reduce your domain range and retreat. We can advance slowly, building our will step by step. Maybe in a decade or so, we can pass the canyon. Chen Yuan waved it off. No worries. Let's try first. If I can't hold it, we can retreat. Now, with hands linked, I'll shrink the domain to cling to our bodies. The willpower shock I bear will be manageable. He grabbed Lan Xingyue with his left hand, Xilon Goddess with his right, and she held Huolinger. 4 of them linked hands, moving forward together. In the Canyon of Will, they formed a striking spectacle. Impossible. Carrying 3 girls, yet moving faster than me? That's 30 times harder. No way, he must be cheating. Some top-tier artifact protecting him. Impossible. Willpower shock isn't something artifacts can block. It's pure soul intimidation, crushing the weak with absolute will. Only the resolute survive. Chen Yuan's pace surpassed prodigy after prodigy, astonishing everyone. At least 20 galaxy stage, 3 heirs were left jaw-dropped in awe. At the 8th, 9th kilometer, when Chen Yuan reached 9.5 kilometers, he noticed another familiar face. A stunning woman, walking with a galaxy stage for prodigy, only 500 meters from the 6th sacred realm entrance. The finish line was so close, yet the willpower shock grew even more violent. One misstep, and mental collapse awaited. Is that peony goddess and sword heart prodigy? Zilan said, surprised. Ignore them. Let's continue. Chen Yuan said calmly. They were noticed by the pair, of course. How is this possible? Shielding 3 others with domain power, enduring 30 times the shock, and still reaching the last 500 meters. Sword Heart Prodigy was stunned, shaken even as a galaxy stage for elite. Chen Yuan, he's extraordinary? Peony Goddess' eyes shone with admiration as she looked at Chen Yuan. Such a peerless prodigy, gifted by nature, exceptionally handsome. If she could cultivate in dual practice with him, she would undoubtedly reap boundless benefits. That's it for today's chapter recap. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. Got thoughts on today's chapter? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on the story. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.